We're gonna give you the ultimate workout to get you fit and athletic, and we're gonna start right now. Okay, now the big things here that we're gonna go through in this workout. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Caitlin, and what we're gonna talk about, we're gonna go through is we're gonna do a warm-up, okay? So you guys are gonna get a specific warm-up. Old heads out there, I'm 41. These are exercises that you can do to get moving, to get a little bit more limber, a little bit more athletic, okay? Then after that warm-up, we're gonna give you an actual workout. So we're gonna give you movement by movement, specific workouts or specific exercises that you can do, and even little offshoots if you can't do the ones that we are actually doing. Then at the end, we're gonna finish with a very unique part of this workout that's just gonna be a little bit of an add-on, and we're gonna be doing this using our strength training at Peak Strength. So the first thing that we're gonna do, Caitlin's gonna do PVC pipe walks. Okay, one thing she could do if she can't do PVC pipe walks is she can use the dowel rod. I'm gonna be over here doing heel toe walks, okay? So one thing I've noticed, and Caitlin's not as old as me, so I don't know if she's noticed this, is that I tend to get a little bit sore feet if I'm running, if I'm jumping or anything like that. So doing like heel toe walks here, I just realized that my one sock has a slight hole in it, actually does help me feel a little bit more mobile through my entire foot, which is gonna help with that proprioception, help me be a little bit more athletic as I'm getting older. I need to steal the dowel rod. She's gonna keep doing the PVC pipe walks, and then we're gonna do kneeling thoracic extensions, and I am going to do dowel rod overhead squats, but this would be a kneeling thoracic extension. This is absolutely phenomenal for anyone who's sitting at a desk all day. We're working constantly. We're working 8 to 10 hour days. Caitlin and I have 4 children. You guys might have some kids yourself, so getting in some time is tough for doing mobility work. This is an exercise that you could do at home, before you go to bed or even when you wake up. So we're gonna go here and just turn. And I am so freaking stiff in the morning right here. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. So Caitlin, you can do this as well. Oh, and we'll go 7 each side. And one of the best benefits around Peak Strength is that we give you this specific warm-up, okay? So we're here, up. Oh my gosh, I'm so tight. I should be doing this more. My left side's not as bad. Caitlin does yoga on a regular basis, so she might be in a little bit better position here. Okay, so I'm gonna do some walks on the PVC pipe, and then she and I are both gonna do the dowel rod overhead squats. We're gonna do this as our warm-up. You guys can be doing this while you're watching. Put this on your TV, get moving just a little bit in each thing. You could do 1 set, you could do 3 sets, you could do 4 sets, you could download Peak Strength and get into it and do your own programming. Now, this feels really good on the back of my heel right now. I actually just got a brand new pair of shoes, so I'm excited to work out in my shoes, break them in, and go through everything. Wow, this feels so freaking good on the bottom of my feet. I really think the big factor, when you're watching or learning about longevity and around being living a healthy, long life, we've got to maintain explosiveness. That's a big factor. Maintain grip strength, maintain muscle mass, increase VO2 max, okay? So all of those factors are what we think through when we're building out our training system and when we're building out our own training for ourselves, along with maintaining that mobility. Once Caitlin's done with overhead squats, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna go heels elevated first.
Oh, I didn't do that. Did you do walking on your heels?
Yeah, heel toe. I like warming up with my socks first, okay? In a barefoot position. You could see there through that warm up, my heels were up on the overhead squats. And then after a couple reps, I can get a little bit deeper. Try to keep the dowel rod a little bit more behind your head. I'm a little bit stiffer. Okay, we'll go through this 2 times, and then we're gonna get into the workout. The first exercise that we're gonna get into is a really, really good movement for being explosive, for being athletic. Now, there's some technique involved, and if you don't wanna do it or you don't think you can do it, inside Peak Strength, you can actually replace it. So we're gonna get our shoes back on, and and we're gonna get into that first exercise. So the first exercise we're gonna do is gonna be a high hang power snatch. We're gonna give you a progression that you guys can use. If you don't wanna do that, okay, we can do a box jump. You can do a dumbbell snatch. You could do an overhead squat with a dowel rod. You could do a dowel rod snatch balance. So there's a couple different things that we can do to replace this high hang power snatch. Caitlin's gonna do this first. So first we're gonna establish where her grip is gonna be. Best part about this is that we know how, she's snatched in the past, so she knows what to do here. Okay, so let's go above the knee there, catch tall, good. Okay, give me 3. And then after Caitlin goes, I'm gonna go, and we're gonna get freaking moving through this workout, okay? I would say let's put on, I'll just move this back. I go a little bit more narrow with my grip personally. So I'm going to go here, boo, boo, boo. Okay, so try to move the weight quickly. Caitlin, what are you going to focus on when you're doing your high hang power snatches?
I'm focusing on finishing my pull. Really
What does that mean?
Shrugging with my shoulders.
What else?
I don't lift very heavy anymore.
Why don't you lift very heavy?
I had a stroke a year and a half ago, and I was told to focus more on cardio than on weightlifting. So I do lift twice a week. So this is actually my athletic fitness workout that I do, but I do more cardio than I do strength training.
Yeah.
A little bit of snatches I still like to do.
So when you're using, like when you're snatching, are you gonna put any weight on or no?
Yeah, I'll go up to like 40 kilos at the most.
So one thing I wanted to point out is that when I was really fat, I was about 300 pounds, I could snatch like 320. Now that was like 8 years ago, and I don't want to snatch super heavy, but I do really like snatching or cleaning or doing, trap bar jumps, stuff like that. I think those movements, these complex movements are really healthy, and you don't have to use a lot of weight. You can stay light. You can just use a bar or a dowel rod. So I think that's a big factor to understand, is that don't judge yourself and be like, I gotta put weight on. Just use the bar and do that for 6 months and just make progress in that movement. So I'm gonna hit this for a double high hang. So I'm gonna stay above the knee. Ooh, that feels good. Caitlin will go, and we're gonna go through this for 4 sets. Caitlin hits a double. I think one of the best things, one of my favorite parts in our programming is that I can actually tell peak strength how hard this set is. So I did my first set, it was easy. So peak strength says, all right, go to about 155, then 175. Okay, so we're gonna go 155 first. Probably gonna see how this feels for a double. And then Caitlin will go on her set for a double. And again, I think like, as someone like you're watching this, you're 30, 40, 50 years old, start where you need to start, okay? Don't look at the weight on the bar, look at the movement and how you feel while you're doing that. Unless you're like me and you judge yourself when you're going to bed for not lifting heavy enough. Oh, that's good. I think I might just stay with that.
I'm gonna judge whose technique is better.
Comment down below if Caitlin or Dane has better technique. Who has the best technique? As I jump back 5 feet and can't lock out my elbow. Oh, that was fast. I gotta go again. Did I jump back again? Ah! Okay. We can do 3 for the video. So Caitlin and I usually, our workouts are just going for a run.
Once a week. We train together once a week.
Once a week, go for a run and talk trash the entire time for 8 miles. Ooh.
Who pushes the pace on our Saturday runs?
Not me. I do not push the pace. maybe the talking pace. Oh. Ah. Okay, you want to do one more? My heart rate's up. Good. Why do you like doing snatches, Caitlin?
I like snatching because it makes me feel athletic, and I like to run. I've run. I'm probably better at running than lifting, but just moving fast is not something that runners do that often, especially long distance runners. So just accelerate, move quickly feels good.
Okay, let's go to the next exercise. Now we're gonna do a movement. So it's gonna be like a contrast almost, not technically, but it's a superset. So the next movement we're gonna do, 3-4 sets. You guys can get through the 2 to 3 reps, okay? You can get through that in 10 minutes, especially after the warm up. The next thing that we're gonna do is a strength movement, and we're gonna pair this. So Caitlin and I have different programs. Ironically, today's strength movement is the same on both of our programs, but she has an extra ab exercise, which we're gonna give you, okay? So we're gonna do a little bit of a superset on the next exercise, which is gonna be a strength movement with an ab exercise. So that's what we're gonna get into next, but let me warm up first. Caitlin actually trains quite fast, and I'm a fat shot putter at heart, so I don't like to train fast. So Caitlin's already warming up, she's already getting to her working set, and I just want to keep talking. So the exercise that we're going to get into, the first movement, okay, is going to be a front squat. So I have been practicing my clean grip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do what DJ calls, one of our strength coaches here at Garage Strength, a gypsy front squat. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Caitlin's going to do clean grip. I'm going to practice a little bit. Caitlin is then going to do banded hollow body rocks for our abs. I'm going to do V-ups. So we're giving you a couple different variations for how we set this up. 2 to 4 reps, okay? And if you don't want to do a front squat, what we can do is, like inside Peak Strength, we have an exercise replacement. So you guys could take it, and if it gives you a front squat, you can do like a goblet squat. You can replace that, okay? But this is how we set up our training here at Garage Strength when we have someone come in the door. We'll take these principles, and we have individuals that are 65, 70 years old, and they'll learn how to do a clean or learn how to do a dumbbell snatch or a snatch, and then they'll do front squats, or they'll do it just with the bar. Okay, they'll do goblet squats, they'll do driver squats, they'll do various aspects of a squat with some ab work. Okay, so that's how we're gonna set this up. Caitlin just set up her hollow body rocks with a band. Okay, so we're gonna get to see her go. Let me front squat first, and then I will do my V-ups over here. So I'm gonna get set. I'm supposed to work up to like 265, which is not happening. I'll probably go up, maybe because our video guy has a pretty good front squat, he might pressure me to work up to like 110 kilos at least. But Caitlin will go first. Jason's rolling his eyes like, no, you're gonna have to go heavier.
5?
Sure, we can do 5. I'm not doing 5, but you can do 5. What do you feel like front squats help as a runner, Caitlin?
Core strength, like holding good positions. I don't know, just quads, hips, mobility.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the things I like with front squats is it's hard to do them poorly, because if you do them poorly, you fall forward. You know, you're gonna lose the bar. So I think it's good to do front squats, especially at a lighter load. I forget how many I'm supposed to do. Oh. Oh, it's good. Oh. Okay, so Caitlin's going to 45. Now, Caitlin, when you had your stroke, what did they say? What was the heaviest you should lift?
50 pounds.
So you're not lifting 50 pounds currently?
Not lifting 50 pounds
Oh,
currently.
you're lifting almost 50 kilos. So basically,
I won't go heavier than this. I think that when doctors make recommendations like don't lift more than 50 pounds, it's like according to like what threshold? Like not everybody's the same. So my base.
this is not medical advice. You need to be talking to your doctor. This is not medical advice. Now, Caitlin, your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's totally true. But I don't know, that when someone recommends like just blanket, like don't lift more than 50 pounds, it's like, okay, if my heart rate is not above 110 and I'm not holding my breath, or actually, it was the same when I was pregnant. It was like, you know, what should I do while I'm pregnant? Well, whatever threshold feels relatively easy for you, then it's probably safe to do. So I don't know, that's just generally a guideline that I follow. I don't go super heavy, I don't hold my breath, I don't wear a belt anymore. Like,
insert video of Caitlin pregnant climbing ropes.
but 50 pounds seems like too much of a restriction on my future, like for all
Okay, do
time.
a triple.
Triple.
Stop talking. Why are you talking so much?
Usually I only have an hour to work out.
Usually I only have 4 hours to work out.
Exactly.
I'm going to talk about why I'm doing it this way. Now, one of the things I did want to mention too, okay, so I just got these shoes last night, so I'm trying to break them in because tomorrow Caitlin and I are going to go for a long run. And we are going to have a little cardio at the end of this session that you're going to see, okay? But one thing I'm doing, I'm squatting here, okay, with just the weights. And you could use a slant board, you could use a bumper plate, you could put your feet on a metal plate, whatever you need. That's going to help you if you're doing like a goblet squat or a driver squat. A driver squat would be like this, okay? So if I'm starting off training and I'm just starting to get healthy, I can go here and go nice and controlled, and I'm gonna feel more comfortable getting that full range of motion. And the pitch I wanna make to you guys to do this is that as I've gotten older, as we have our 4 kids at home, some of the things that I'm still able to do is, run, jump, squat down, pick them up when they were little. Those are big things that a lot of us lose that capability. Okay, so as your kids are growing up, you want to be able to have the physical capability to do things, to pick, to pick things up. We do a lot of stuff like stacking firewood. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but being able to still do that is really, really important in spending that time with your family. So I think that if you have those aspects and you're somebody who's just trying to get back into resistance-based training, you want to become an athlete, you can use little tricks like this to help with that mobility. And now on the next set, I'm going to increase the weight and I'm going to take these away and see if I can stay on my heels as well. So I wanted to point that out. It's
like when you can get down like this to give your kid a hug.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, come here. Like, it's like when you can do that, that makes you feel good. And it still being able to do that as you get older is great. And your kids get heavier.
Yeah, and the kids get a lot heavier. It's like picking up Seneca to carry her into bed. Like genuinely, our daughter is huge, like just tall, big girl. And doing like a Zercher carry with Seneca and putting her up into her bunk bed because she's a twin, I'm really fortunate and privileged that I can still do that. And I think that a lot of that does come back to resistance-based training and training like an athlete. So as far as like if you should get Olympic weightlifting shoes, I don't think you have to, okay? Don't use that as a barrier to getting fit. I think if you are in a situation financially where you can afford weightlifting shoes, I think they are beneficial to have weightlifting shoes, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity. I would make the argument that purchasing Peak Strength is gonna be much more effective than buying weightlifting shoes, and then you can use the plates under your heels to help with that. But if you are in that financial situation and you can, I do think weightlifting shoes are fantastic for helping with that mobility. It basically elevates you, and then you can get that greater range of motion, and then you can sit here, right? I can go, right now, our kids are playing around with Pokemon cards a lot in our living room, and I can go over and sit with one of our twins and count the cards and go through what we have, and then use that because I have some decent mobility. Not great mobility, but actually decent mobility. Go, Caitlin.
The other thing I like about this workout is pairing the ab workout with the front squat. When you go back to the front squat, you can still feel it in your abs, so you know.
Yeah, 100%.
How to hold that position.
And your back feels a little better. Oh. I think that's like what Caitlin just said is like, as a coach of athletes, I will pair a lot of front squat movements, single leg front squats with other ab exercises so that kids feel their abs when they're doing a squat. And it's like, that stuff is just as impactful as we're getting older, right? As we're getting older, a lot of us sit all day. So we lose mobility, we lose muscle mass, and we lose that activation of the muscles. Like we actually lose, like it becomes hindered because we're not doing it. So now if we hit a front squat and we're actually using some trunk work here in between the squats, now you're gonna be a little bit more aware, okay? So my abs, I'm almost thinking like, okay, I gotta be a little bit more upright. And when I'm a little more upright, I'm probably gonna hit better depth. When I hit better depth, my strength, my full range, lengthening and strengthening, that's like a little buzzword that we like to use here, is that now if I have greater range, a longer muscle mass, a longer muscle, okay, I'm gonna increase my strength, and that all comes back to training that core in between the sets. So you are accurate with that. I guess I have to do my set now. This is like a classic athlete thing. When I was an athlete, was that I would just talk as long as possible before a big squat set and just not want to do the squat set.
And Peak Strength has recommended rest times. Do you,
oh shit.
When the rest timer goes off, do you go? Or
the rest timer is a recommendation for everybody else, but not for myself.
I always skip the rest timer because I want to get through it as quickly as possible, and I don't go that heavy, so.
All right, I guess I gotta do this. I have to not be a bitch. Ooh, that wasn't terrible. I guess I'll do one more set. My wife's here. I have to impress her.
I do think that you tend to need more rest time when you go heavier, or higher percentages.
Yeah, I was just saying, when Caitlin met me, I was like 300 pounds actually.
I've always been able to get my heart rate down really quick though. That's just, it's just good VO2 max, you know?
Yeah, oh, your VO2 max is much better than mine, yes. Yeah. That is accurate. I think even when we're doing, I'm doing V-ups here, right? And really making sure I'm pivoting on my butt cheeks, okay? I should have longer arms, which I'm not doing the best job with. There we go. Get up off of your lower back. I think that's a big one. And Caitlin's doing like a really good iso hold through the hollow body rocks. And then just a little bit of tension at the top. Those murder me, okay? Hollow body rocks murder me. So, all right, I'm gonna go talk to Peak Strength and have a therapy session before I front squat heavy. This is probably the heaviest I've front squatted in, honestly, probably since like June. This is the heaviest I've front squatted. And we're in November, mainly because I've been traveling so much. And that, dude, that's the one thing I want to point out to anybody watching is like, with Peak Strength, with what we're doing is like, we get so hung up in how busy our lives are, and we have that built in as an excuse. And I think the best part for me with Peak Strength is that there's other things you can do outside of front squat heavy. Like you can do simple things, just body weight squats, and it's like an accountability partner in your pocket, you know, to continuously make those gains. So I did want to point that out as a way of distracting myself from this set.
When I looked at this workout, I checked my exercise history to see the last time that we did this snatch, and it was like August. The same point you were making, that I don't lift heavy all the time, but keeping my mobility means that I can push it once every couple weeks and still feel like I'm moving well, moving heavy-ish weight for athletic fitness.
Okay, so we started off with a warm-up. You guys got the warm-up. We went into the snatches. We gave you variations of the snatches that you could do. We just went into the strength movement. We paired that with the ab exercise. So this is all stuff to help you become a better athlete. Now we're gonna finish when we're short on time, right? We're all parents or busy. I'm doing dumbbell step-ups here, okay? And I wanna focus on having good trunk control here and driving up. Caitlin is gonna be doing back extensions, okay? And we're gonna do this and just try and go back and forth. And now the thing that I was figuring I would do is that instead of back extensions, I'm gonna show you two other movements. I'm gonna do single leg RDL, which I think is fantastic for anyone who struggles with lower back stiffness. You don't even need the dumbbells, okay? You can put the dumbbells down and just do body weight, okay? So I'm gonna go here. Ooh. 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 And I also wanted to show, before Caitlin comes back over here, I've been playing around a lot with some twisting stuff, and inside peak strength, we have back extensions with a twist. So we're gonna go down and twist, down, twist, down, twist. And I wanna think about getting my elbow back to like 90 degrees. Because you saw in the beginning of this video how stiff I was, okay? Oh. And what I really think is that when I was doing those thoracic extensions, I had a lot of stiffness in there. So you want me to lower that? When I'm training that rotation with some load, now my body's gonna remember that position a little bit more. So that's a big cheat code that I think. Caitlin's got a band on here for added tension. So at the top, she can squeeze through her glutes and her hamstrings. And this is a big thing too, that we have a user inside Peak Strength. He's been in there for a few years. His name's Craig Curtis, okay? Craig has lost like 50 plus pounds. He's gotten off of some of his meds. He's gotten in such crazy shape. He's now out sprinting. One of the big factors when I was talking to him was he was mentioning how, wow, my posterior chain has gotten so much stronger. I'm gonna start working on sprints in the future. Now he's actually working on his sprint capability because of exercises like this that target that posterior chain, that lengthen that lower back, hamstrings, help your posture, and the rotational work that we do helps with that posture and that trunk, okay? And then ultimately, you keep those habits forming over a long period of time, and you hold yourself accountable to get more fit, and you're training like an athlete again. You're feeling stronger, you're feeling more explosive, you're doing some extra endurance work as well. Those are the key concepts that we use inside of Peak Strength. So the first link in the description, the pinned comment, those are both links to head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, or the Apple iOS Store. Download that. Caitlin and I are both on the athletic fitness program. Okay, I'm gonna get on here. Caitlin's quads are probably blowing up. And this will be our last set of this, and then we're gonna give you the little cheat code at the end that you guys can use to take your training to the next level. It doesn't have to be crazy long, it doesn't have to be crazy hard. It's just simple stuff. Understanding it's the little wins. You know, for me personally, I'm only lifting 2 to 3 days a week. I'm doing some cardio work on the other 2 to 3 days, and then I take a rest day. But getting resistance-based work in 2 to 3 days a week, holding yourself accountable, doing these specific movements, right? Focusing on quad development for your knee health, and then getting some work here.
You wanna know my Peak Strength tip?
Yes.
I don't know if this is a good suggestion. So I work out, I strength train probably 2 days a week, but sometimes I put a 3 or a 4 day program so I can pick and choose which workouts I want to do. So if I want to do an athlete day during the week, then I could just pick the athlete day after my leg day. And I
think that is good though. It's like, that's the benefit of how dynamic it is. It's
you
like,
you can help your streak, but
as an older person, you can make it fit your schedule. It's literally customized programming. Like it's personalized to your schedule, to your goals, to what equipment you have, to how many days a week you want to use it. It's personalized training. Okay, finish here. I felt these more than I did the RDLs, so I'm gonna keep doing this. my right side is so freaking tight. Oh. And I'm trying to think like from a shot putter perspective, like why would that, well, I guess maybe I'm finishing more this way. That's the other thing though, is like as you're training athletically again, you start to notice the things from when you were training as an athlete so that are starting to creep back in. And so you want to alleviate that stuff as you get older, because you don't want to be 65 years old dealing with that same shit.
Your ability to rotate is probably better than the average person though, like without getting hurt.
I hope so. That would be the goal. Okay, Caitlin's overachieving. I'm not gonna do the last set. She's gonna finish that up and then we're gonna go over and we're gonna do one more thing. Okay, so you got the warm up. You guys can write that down, okay? Again, you can download Peak Strength. You got the strength movements or you got the explosive movement there with the power snatch. You can do variations of that. We even mentioned box jumps, okay? Something simple. Got the strength movement, okay, with the abs. You just got the accessories. Blast through these accessories, you know, and then now we're gonna get into the last aspect of this workout. Okay, so I came over here. We're finishing now with the endurance portion, okay? So there is some evidence in research that doing cardio after a lift is more beneficial than doing cardio before a lift. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be done that way. Oftentimes I'm doing cardio before I actually do my resistance-based training. I think there's a couple different aspects. One, Caitlin stole the treadmill, so I replaced my running with the assault bike, with the fan bike, okay, inside Peak Strength. The other thing is, I could have selected, I want to do interval work, or I want to do 20 minutes or 40 minutes. One of the big aspects that I like about going on a treadmill or a fan bike or a rower is you can go 10 minutes. Literally set a 10-minute timer and go 3 minutes as hard as you can, 30 seconds rest, 3 minutes on, 30 seconds rest, 3 minutes on, and you're done. That's 10 minutes and 30 seconds. And that would be a phenomenal workout, okay? Now, I'm trying to finish this video talking you through this. The other big factor around commitment is just training with a partner. And it doesn't even need to be your spouse, right? Like, but it's having someone help you be more accountable, help you see where those goals and where you can take that vision of like, all right, I want to improve my fitness. I want to get to the next level. I want to be healthier. I want to train like an athlete. I want to be able to squat down and pick up my kids, my grandkids. I want to be able to squat down and pick up my grandkids, whatever that might be. So I think those are all like big key aspects around having that fitness vision really long term.
Yeah, there's like probably dozens of days where we're like, did you run today? And it's just like asking the question. And even if the answer is like, I got 15 minutes in, it's like, all right, whatever, it's more than nothing, you know, it's better than not working out.
Yeah, 100%, it's better than not working out. So if you guys need help with your training, click the link down in the description, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store, download Peak Strength, select Athletic Fitness, okay, and then select the goal. Do you want to be more explosive? Do you want to have more muscle mass? Whatever that is. If you guys like content like this, click on this card right here, covering Caitlin. Because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace!